Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've got a very exciting video for you today, and I know it's been a little while since I've made a video for you guys. What I'm here to talk to you about is my latest obsession in the world of tabletop gaming. Now, I still obviously play a lot of board and card and role-playing games and all that kind of thing, but this has really caught my eye and it's captured my fancy in a way that very few things have over the last couple of months. So, what am I talking about? Now get ready, because the sacrilege is coming in the next couple of seconds. Are you holding on to your seats? Are you emotionally prepared? It is a miniatures game. I know. I never thought I'd get into one either. But something about this game has just got me absolutely hooked. So what I thought I'd do is I'd record a little video just telling you a little bit about what I like about it and why I think it does kind of bridge the gap between what you may consider as being a war game or a miniatures war game and a board game. So before I go any further, the game that I'm talking to you about today is Corvus Belli's Infinity. Now what I have here is the Operation Ice Storm starter pack, which I think is a fantastic way to get into the game. It's the way I got into it, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you get inside that starter pack, and then how you can sort of go from there, and just talk a little bit about the game, about the system itself, and how it works. But the first thing I need to tell you about is these miniatures are absolutely exquisite, okay? Corvus Belli Infinity uses 28mm metal miniatures, and because they're metal, you can get an insane amount of detail, and these are far superior to any other miniatures I've ever seen. They take paint beautifully, so if you're into painting, I mean, this is definitely a no-brainer for you. I originally got into painting just so I could pump out my board game collection a little bit, and that led me to this, and I'm very happy it did. So, let me tell you a little bit about what Corvus Belli is, or what Infinity is, and what it is not. Okay, what Infinity is a 28mm tactical skirmish level miniatures game. So what does that mean? Okay, it's tactical. That means it's all about like hugging corners, being very, like if you've ever thought of like a game like Metal Gear Solid, this is that on a tabletop. Okay, so it is that kind of scale, that kind of feeling. When you think about a lot of other war games, if you think about things like Warhammer Fantasy, for example, you have huge units of hundreds of troops that you're moving across this epic field. That is not what Infinity is. Infinity is tight, tactical, a handful of units on the board, which is lovely. I'm going to talk about that as well. And it's very intense and exciting. Okay, so how does it work? Well, Infinity operates on basically an order system. And that's great because there's a little bit of resource management in the game. But basically, every model that you have on the table will contribute an order to the order pool. Now, you can spend those orders to activate units. You can either spend one to activate a unit, and then they can move and shoot, or move and dodge, or whatever. And or you can have tons of orders played on a single character and mission them up the board. So you don't have, okay, this person activates, and that person activates, and that person activates. No, there's none of that at all. You can do that if you'd like, or you can have one guy screaming up towards an objective, or screaming up towards killing another player's sort of NPC, or MVP, sorry. So that's really cool. In addition to obviously the tactical layers and the sort of miniature game layers, there's also this layer of resource management where you need to think like, well, who am I going to give my orders to? How am I going to distribute this? So, in a lot of ways, the game works like other miniatures games that you may have played, where you spend an order, you can just spend it just by flipping it over normally, and say, okay, I'm going to use that order to move my character. Now, your orders are divided into either two short skills, normally, or one long skill. What's great about Infinity is that it's not, okay, I'm going to make this guy move, and then I'm going to make that guy move, and then I'm going to make that guy move. Then I'm going to make this guy shoot, and I'm going to make that guy shoot, and then I'm going to make... By the end of that, your opponent's fallen asleep. Not pleasant, okay? So what's great about Infinity is that they have the tagline, it's always your turn, and the way that they make that work is that all of the orders, or all of the players are either in one of two phases. When it's your turn, you're known as the active player. So you're going to be spending orders, activating units, and that sort of thing. But the reason that your opponent is engaged is that no matter what you do, your opponent may have access to what's called an ARO, or an automatic reaction order. So if I, as the active player, move a unit and I move them into line of sight or through a place where one of the opponent's miniatures have line of sight, they can say, boom, my arrow is to shoot you as you go running through that corridor or running past that passage. So you have to constantly be engaged to make sure that you don't miss any of those arrows. And what's lovely about that is you are constantly rolling dice. You're constantly playing. There's none of it, oh, it's your turn, I'm going to wait, I'm going to go check my phone or whatever. No, you constantly need to be on that board rolling those dice to make sure that you don't miss arrows. So what's also great about the game is it goes beyond the level of just kill, kill, kill. It is sort of very, very clean, hard sci-fi. And so you have things like hacking, where you can hack into your opponent's mechs and disable them or cause them to eject the pilot out of the mech. I mean, it's like amazing stuff. Mechs in Infinity are called tags, by the way. So if you want to get some of those, that's what you need to go and ask the retailer for. Just ask them for some tags for your faction of choice. Another thing that's very, very cool is it uses a D20 system rather than hundreds and hundreds of D6s. It's actually a very, it's like a little bit of maths that it takes you some time to wrap your mind around. But once you get the hang of it, the rolling is very, very intuitive, and you just start chuck, 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 chuck. And the maths becomes quite second nature, especially because all the modifiers are basically in denominations of 3. So you'll be saying add 3, minus 3. And so it's not like add 3, add 7, minus 4, plus 2, none of that. So it makes the maths a little bit easier. And you get cover bonuses for things like, or you get dice bonuses for things like cover and that kind of thing. And it also uses a very intuitive method where you basically roll your dice and compare them with your opponent. One thing I should say is that you are at a disadvantage when you are the reactive player, in that, say you want to shoot back, you normally only get to use 1 dice to shoot back, where the active player, if they want to shoot at you, will spend 3 dice, or they have a burst of 3. But they can separate that, so I'm going to send 2 shots to that guy, 1 shot to that guy. So there's that kind of economy of, well, how am I going to spend my dice, how am I going to distribute my rolls? Very, very, very exciting. And the hacking, like I said, is also just a really, really cool feature. So, how does it work? Okay, you spend orders, you normally are going to move, and most of the units have got like a kind of standard movement of 4 inches, and then they have a secondary movement stat. So you'll move 4 inches, check to see if your opponents have any AROs. If they do, then you declare your second short skill. So it can be to carry on moving, or it can be to shoot back at the people that are shooting at you, which is normally what happens. So there's a little bit of measurement, but it's because the game is played on such a small scale, you're not having, oh, I'm going to move my guy 500 inches forward and 300 inches. No, none of that. It's all just like 4 inches, 8 inches, chip, 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 chip. Nice and tight. Very tactical. Okay. What's also great about that ARO thing is you don't run into the issue of, never mind that obviously all battles need to be point balanced. So normally in tournament level, you play up to 300 points, which is about 10, 12 models normally. You don't run into that issue of that, oh, I'm the guy who buys the expensive model and that makes me the best unbeatable player. What's great about this game is you can send like your most important, perfect, your special unit, and if you're foolish with them, boom, they can get taken out by one of your opponent's line troopers just because you walked into somewhere where they had line of sight. So it's like, oh, you've got to just constantly be thinking tactically. It's more about the tactics than it is about powerful units, okay? That being said, there are plenty of amazing models and amazing units in this game that you should definitely consider. What's also great is the game has got 7 factions, count them, 7, they are all unique and diverse, okay? The 2 that come in the Operation Ice Storm starter box, which is, like I said, is still a great place to start, are the Pan-Oceania and the Nomads, who are the 2 kind of the head honcho factions, okay? So after you have the Pano and the Nomads, they're like the very high technology, the sort of the cream of the crop kind of. I apologize if I'm upsetting any Ariadne purists out there, but Pano and Nomads, as far as tech is concerned, are the cream of the crop. So after that, you get the Ariadne, who are kind of your very low-tech militia kind of characters. And then what else? We have Haq Islam, who are the New Islam, who are kind of the Arab nations. I love the Haq Islam models, and they're like on motorbikes and are really just badass and tough. Then we have Eugene, which is kind of the Eastern faction. So you've got Japan and China sort of combining to form a new faction. So it's like Pano, Nomads, Ariadne, Haq Islam, Eugene. Then we have Aleph, who are the sort of artificial intelligence that the Pan-Oceania had created, that has kind of become sentient and has become a faction on its own. And then the last faction, if I'm remembering correctly, is the Combined Army, which are basically aliens. How cool is that? So, why do I like this game? Okay, it plays in a smallish footprint. Now, I don't have a big table. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know I don't have a big table. And if you want to play a game like Warhammer, you need like a 6 foot by 4 foot table. That's bigger than my flipping apartment. So I'm not going to be playing any of that. But what's great about this is it plays ideally on a 4 foot by 4 foot table. And this is even smaller than that, and it's perfect for a little skirmish game. What's also great is it's a low model count. Okay, so the models are probably per model on par with what you would pay with some other miniatures games. The difference is you don't need 400 models to be competitive in Infinity. You need a handful, you need 10. So that's really, really cool. The way models come in Infinity, let me show you, is in these starter boxes. So let me grab a few of these starter boxes. Okay, so I have the Ariadne starter box, who are my faction of choice, really. They are your sort of Highlanders and your low-tech militia guys. Then a lot of the factions have got sectorial armies, which are kind of sub-factions within the main vanilla faction. So these are the Caledonian Highlanders, which are the Scotsmen for the Ariadne. So you can combine the two, or you can play a pure Caledonian Highlander army. What's great about playing sectorials or grouping sectorials is they can form like link teams. So they can huddle together and move as a group, which is a fantastic way of conserving your orders. Fantastic. The next one is that I have here is the military order, which is a Pan-Oceania sectoral army. So Panos are these blue guys, and the military orders are kind of the paladin faction of that. And then I have here my Tunguska Interventors, who are the hackers for nomads. So Infinity, all in all, is a really, really great game. It's deep. It rewards thought and careful planning rather than just running and gunning, spraying and praying. But because you're still using dice, there is still a chance that your little line unit can take out a massive tag. And the low model count and the lower barrier to entry makes it more appealing. The fact that you get lots of this beautiful terrain is also great. Infinity is a game that really thrives on terrain. So what's great about the Operation Ice Storm starter box is it comes with this Mototronica terrain pack, which is all of these buildings, or not buildings, all of these sort of containers and buildings, and this playmat. So I think that if this is something that is interesting to you and you've maybe wanted to try your hand at a miniatures game but have never been sort of sure about which one to give a go to, I think that your best bet would probably be to find a friend who's interested, have a look at the Nomads and the Pano armies, and go halvesies on a box of Operation Ice Storm. Really, in terms of the value that you're getting out of this box, it's like it can't be beat, okay? And from there, you can easily expand your army. In fact, in the Operation Ice Storm rulebook, they have a section here, or let me find it, on how to expand the armies that are included in the box to a 300-point competitive level army. So, I mean, what more do you want? There's a range of over 800 miniatures, and you can really customize a battle force to play the way that you want to play. Whether you want to play a game where you stand far back and snipe, whether you want to play a game where you run up and punch people in the face, or if you hide around corners and hack people and make their mechs turn on their own team, you can do all of that in Infinity. And what's also great is the tournament system works on objectives. So it's not just wipe everyone out. A lot of the time it'll be like, control these objective spots on the board, or find and hack into these certain things. So it has all of that kind of lovely intrigue and mystery that you will find in a board game, in addition to the resource management of your orders. And there's like, I can't even rant and rave about this game enough. There's camouflage, where people can come onto the board as camouflage markers, and you have to be very careful whether or not you want to take a shot at them, because unless they reveal themselves or you do a discovery check first, you'll be wasting your ARO, and AROs are precious, because that is basically where the game is won or lost, is in the AROs. So yeah, in the box you get the 2 starter packs, you get all this lovely terrain, you get rulers and markers and little tokens, not the best quality tokens, but fine for what you need. And you also get like your templates for your smoke grenades and all of that kind of thing. This game is just awesome, absolutely awesome. Now, the rulebook is not probably not the best place to start, because it is humongous. What was recommended to me, and this is probably the best way to do it, is go down, play a few demo games, get yourself a copy of Operation Ice Storm, which will do a great job at teaching you the basics, and then go through the factions, pick a faction that you like, and pick 1 or 2 boxes out that you think you like the look of the models. Put together a list and learn how those special rules work, because there's so many different special rules, so many different actions. Just know your list, and then go out and play with people, and that's the best way to kind of broaden your horizons and figure out how the game actually works. But I'm having a lot of fun playing it. Like I said, it's not obviously replacing board gaming in any way or stretch or form, but it's all tabletop gaming, and I am enjoying this a lot, so I thought I had to share it with you. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and until the next time, take care of each other, play lots of games. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.